review, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. New business, item number 1 is approval of a professional services agreement with Duncan Coker Associates for engineering services on the Veterans Memorial Parkway Bridge. The project total is $216,438. Zach, welcome.
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is seeking approval for Duncan Coker's professional service contract. This is for the maintenance of the pedestrian bridge going across Veterans Memorial, the railroad there. I think everybody kind of knows where it is. Here's some of the just the pictures of the current condition. The project probably bid and start construction in 2026 and go into the beginning of 2027 due to the right of way we have, or the permits we have to get from the railroad and for AlDOT, and well, that season might be over.
What season?
The bat season.
Bat?
Yes.
You're being very optimistic.
What
26,
season
27.
is bat season?
They protected, is that what it is?
Yes, and so can't do construction during certain times of the year without certain other.
Duncan, come on up here and tell us.
How about that?
So I came prepared because I
That's a
had a
good
suspicion
thing.
we were gonna
What are
go
we
down
engineering?
this rabbit hole.
$216,000.
This is a picture's worth 1,000 words.
So when we were talking about tearing this down, did we have this discussion about bats and everything else?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Tyner.
Thank you, sir.
So just real quick, the way you read this dial, January, February, this is going counterclockwise. January, February coming around. And so there in Alabama, there in this region of Alabama, there are 2 and I think there may be 3 species of endangered bats that we have in this area right now that are protected, of course. And we suspect there may be some bat activity under this bridge. So being that this is AlDOT right now, we've got to check this box. So I talked to Zach, the schedule that we put together on this project initially had us starting in January of this year, so I'm gonna provide Zach with an updated schedule. But he and I were just kind of looking at some critical dates on this thing. I feel like we'll have it ready to bid midsummer, but as you see here, the window where we get the all clear with no restrictions begins October 15th and wraps around till the end of March. So ideally, we bid it late September, August, September, and be under construction mid-October, 90-day contract, finish somewhere in here. So,
You know what would happen if we tore it down?
2026.
well, this same situation was in play even with the demolition.
You have to,
We run into this occasionally, so there's some avenues by which we could get around it. We found that the cost burden on y'all to do the investigation, to determine whether or not they are or not there. When we've done this before, there's habitat, presence of the bats being there, droppings, things like that, and we end up back in the same thing. And then we spent, $50,000 or more doing the investigation, and we're right back where we started. So my recommendation is, being that the time for the most part lines up with when we would have the bid package ready, just wait until October.
I live about 5 miles away, Zach. You think my bats that I see around my house are protected? Should be. Well, you need to come check them out. So Jimmy, out of that 216, how's that package sort of apportioned amongst engineering facets of this?
Well,
I mean, because oversimplified, again, greatly oversimplified.
Right.
We're going to knock some rust off and slap paint on it, right?
yes, sir. So the breakdown for the hourly fee of that $216,000, the basic design services, which encompasses preliminary final design bid phase, and then basic engineering services during construction, which is the management component of that under construction, totals, just under $75,000. The surveying component, we've got established the railroad right-of-ways, Veterans Memorial Parkway right-of-ways, to delineate where the work zone that these guys can utilize without getting on private property. Is $20,000. Easement negotiation, if we get into the point where we need access from off of right-of-way to get to the work corridor, is another $5,000. And then construction observation and contract closeout total another $75,000. $24,000 worth of permitting, which includes Norfolk Southern right of entry, additional railroad protective liability insurance, and then the contractor's right of entry contract permit preparation. Again, that totals almost $25,000. So on the surface it appears simple, but there's a lot of stuff going on with this. The railroad permit alone is going to be quite a chore. Y'all seen, I think the most recent one of these that was done was on the interstate. Would be the overpass between McFarland and 359. I forget the name of that, 37? Maybe. That one was repainted within the past year. It was an ALDOT contract, of course, and if you drove through there, you probably saw these huge curtains, where they're protecting.
I'm in front of Skyland Elementary School.
That road, yes, sir, Mr. Tyne. And so, they got to sandblast the thing. They've got to collect all that debris that comes off from the blasting. So they got to isolate each span of that bridge to be able to capture all that blasting material. And so, over that railroad track, that's going to be quite a chore. And I expect it to be a pretty intense permitting process with the railroad. We won't be able to block train traffic during this. And there's, that track carries one train every hour on average.
So then nothing happens until October, is that what it is?
That's my guess, yes, sir.
It's October 26th
October 15th.
Of next year.
of 2026.
26th.
I'm gonna ask for a mental health day
No, I
for
don't.
1 week. I
Oh,
just
mental
need, I
health
just
day?
need a week to absorb what's involved in that.
Mental health day or just mental health
No,
week?
just a mental health week. I'm not out of the saddle, I just want to. I'll make a motion.
Mr. Busby, we don't meet next week for committees, we've got a work
In
session.
2 weeks.
Questions? Got a motion to table for the next meeting? Okay.
Yeah, second.
Yes, second. Motion second. Any discussion?
Aye.
We're gonna table. Aye. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're gonna table that for.
And Jimmy,
Yes, sir.
thank you for the explanation.
Yes, sir.
I get it.
Randy, we're
I
tabling
just have
2
to
weeks.
absorb.
Understand.
Item number 2 is approval of a right-of-way use permit for the Capitol School to install a private playground at 629th Avenue. Bill, welcome. What, good afternoon.
So, Mike Gardner, not here today,
You are not
doing my
right.
best to roll, but he did get a chance to review this and recommend before he moved out of office for a few days. So, this is on behalf of the Capitol School, move ahead, orientation. This is just the memo and the copy of the permit that was submitted for orientation. This is near Capitol Park, so just about a half mile to the west, here from City Hall. And Capitol School that occupies a couple of buildings on 6th and 7th Street, both near the intersection of 29th Avenue. And this permit will be relevant to a couple of those facilities. So the nursery component of the Capitol School, not in this building currently. They are in a building which is at the intersection of 7th and 29th, 902 7th Street, is the current nursery school. The building that they occupy, where the nursery school is currently housed, the lease is expiring and will not be renewed, and that's going to be September that they need to vacate that building. This is the building they plan to move to. One of the challenges that they have is that the playground, which you can see slightly off to the right there, currently does not accommodate the size of the population that they'll have enrolled in the nursery school when they move to this new location. So the request is to submit it's a right-of-way use permit to take the space that's shown there by the yellow hatching area. It's currently perpendicular parking to the building, and they'll build, it's approximately like 80-foot by 30-foot playground in that square footage, astroturf on the playground surface, and then adjacent to it, just to the street side of that yellow block, they'll be building new parallel parking, sidewalk, and a fence. And here's the early stage of the design that they have for that footprint. So in summary, it's giving up about 7 perpendicular parking spaces in that area, but gaining nearly the same quantity of parking adjacent to the parking street with new paved surface, new sidewalk, and a fence that goes surrounding the new parking playground that they're looking to install to accommodate this.
Question?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Joe, you should move it.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is approved. Item number 3 is approval of amendment number 1 to a minor public works contract with John Wayne Plumbing, increasing the amount of compensation by $10,000 for a total not to exceed $30,000. Scott, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So once again, this is a not to exceed, we're getting to the max, so we're gonna need some additional funding for emergencies, so we can have quick response times.
Questions?
Where's it coming from, Scott?
This is general funds outside service.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is approval of a minor public works contract with Sports 12 LLC for purchase and installation of the scoreboard at the Powell Gym, the total of $6,592. Scott?
So this is, from the Powell Gym improvements. We had already put a scoreboard through, but we couldn't get the contract lined up, so this is exact same price,
Sure.
exact same scoreboard, just a different company.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is approved. Is there any other business to be brought before this committee today? Our next committee meeting will be in 2 weeks on Tuesday, August the 5th at 2:30. Hearing no new business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.